This is the Hollywood Outsider Weekly Entertainment Podcast, where this week we're going to look at upcoming releases including Pain and Gain, The Big Wedding, and Mud. We're going to reviews of 42 and Place Beyond the Pines. Our From the Outside In topic this week, we answer a listener's question about what crimes the hoes would commit during a purge. That'll be interesting. As well as we discuss bad movies we love. We have the latest movie and TV news as always, including our own trivia segments. My name is Aaron Peterson. With me today are my fellow hoes, Justin McCumber.
I might have to plead the fifth on what crimes I might commit, because shit could go down, and I don't need evidence out there for premeditation.
Hey, this is all hypothetical. It's okay. I don't think they can put you in jail for that.
You don't think? I'm sorry, Mr. Lawyer.
Yeah. Well, it's not even. It's like Mr. Lawyer wannabe. Mr.
Exactly.
Seek other counsel or something.
Yeah, seek some counsel before I can answer this question.
And Brian Williams.
What's going on?
Not
First
much.
podcast of 39 version 2.0.
That's right. You had your big birthday, 40.
That's it.
And Scott will not be here because he's protesting because his birthday wasn't as important. So he is sitting out. It is his birthday today. I guess he's sitting at home playing video games.
He's doing the usual and getting drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday, bitch.
We were going to sing to you, but you weren't here. So fuck
So you missed out on that.
That's true. Anybody? So forget Scott. Did anybody see the Star Trek trailer? The new one. Who the frack is Cumberbatch? Does anybody know yet?
Well, I don't know. And the ship that appears in front of the Enterprise looks like one of the ships you would have seen like on the Star Trek Next Generation movies or something. It looks years ahead of the Enterprise. So I have no idea what's going on, but it looks so awesome.
Patrick Stewart pops in a wheelchair.
Well, I hope not, but I don't know. Something weird. I'm still thinking that it is the eugenics characters from the original television series. I don't know how, but and really why I'm sticking to that, but I'm sticking to it. I think there's something there, but as for the rest of it, I don't know. It looks amazing.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I'm definitely. I'm kind of doing the Justin thing where I'm just sequestering myself from any more exposure.
I want somebody. If you know who that Cumberbatch is playing, send it to the Outsider. I want to know who that is. I'm curious.
And some kind of reference, some kind of evidence, just not your own speculation.
Oh, because we got plenty of speculation.
Yeah, we got the whole internet full of speculation. I think we're good.
Uh-huh.
And before we really get into real movie news, they're remaking Point Break, and I haven't decided if that's a crime against humanity or not.
It is. I'll just save your debating it. It is.
It's a shame. It's just wrong. You can't keep remaking Patrick Swayze movies.
What other one have they remade?
Red Dawn.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Dirty Dancing. It's like, no!
They're talking about remaking that one, too.
Yeah, there was talk of that a while ago.
Oh.
Come on, people. Let the
God,
baby
what's
dead.
next? Roadhouse?
Nobody
No.
puts baby in a corner. If they did Roadhouse, I'd seriously quit whatever it is I do.
I'm retiring from watching movies.
Tom Cruise apparently wants to be in every potential franchise known to man, as he just signed in to star in Yakazi?
Yukikazi.
Thank you, God. Based on the popular novels. What does it mean?
I actually looked it up.
Ooh.
So the word means wind-blown snow.
Oh, it's nice. It sounds alluring.
Like kamikaze means divine wind. Yukikazi is wind-blown snow.
This is what we bring you, dear listener.
Yeah. Well, I try to make sure that our listeners are as informed as possible. Yeah, Tom Cruise, it seems like the older the man gets, the more energy he's got or the more need he has for a paycheck, because he is signed on to shit. He's already got working with Christopher McQuarrie for the next Mission Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
He's signed on for the next Jack Reacher film. He's in talks with Guy Ritchie to be in a movie based on the classic TV series The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And now he's also signing on to do this Yukikazi, which is based on a series of Japanese sci-fi novels written by a guy by the name of Kohi Kambayashi, who is apparently the Japanese answer to Isaac Asimov. And the story is basically that aliens have invaded the Earth through a portal over Antarctica. We somehow were able to fight them off, and now we're actually going to their home world to take the battle to them.
Ooh, I like that.
So, yeah, I mean, on the surface, sure, never read it. I have no idea how they're going to bastardize the story and change it, but, it kind of sounds like Independence Day 2.
Oh.
First they came to us, now we're going to them or something. But I don't know, shit, I'm in for it. I like Tom Cruise, even though he's, kind of wacky. He's my kind of wacky. So, shit, I'm anxious to hear more. There
was a lot of scuttle at the cinema convention that's going on right now. It used to be known as Show West. Now it's CinemaCon or whatever. They screened Oblivion, and they said that's the one blockbuster they were leery of because they liked the subject matter, but the star was wearing thin with their customers. And I will tell you, they're one of the most adept. I mean, basically, it's a convention of theater owners. So they're saying their customers are getting a little tired of Tom Cruise. He might be getting there. I mean, he's wearing himself out.
I think that he is really, if he's not dangerously close, he's gone over the edge of really overexposing. The guy's got 3-4 films, seems like, coming out a year. Mm-hmm. But I can't blame him, though. He is, even though he's 50 and he looks 40, he is getting older, and there are fewer and fewer things your body, no matter how well you train it, your body's going to allow you to do. And if he wants to keep doing these kinds of films, then he's going to have to cram them in as much as possible and maybe put them in a drawer and just dole them out over the years instead of putting them all out in one. But, he can still draw in money, and I still like the guy. So I can't say that I'm upset by any of this.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I mean, just real quick, when he was married to, what's her name?
Katie Holmes, Nicole Kidman.
I mean, he really wasn't doing a whole lot of anything. I mean, there was a little stretch of time where he wasn't really releasing a whole lot. So
he wasn't taking care of business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, he was just doing the Mission Impossible, and then the next one several years later. He really wasn't in too many movies. Maybe she was holding him back. Or maybe he's like, keep himself busy.
That's right. Finally, hey, man, I'm done. I'm out of this cage. I'm flying.
I don't think he wanted out of that cage. I think he was like, where'd the cage go?
Tom Cruise got to spread the wings.
Oh.
I don't care. Tom Cruise is awesome.
Speaking of CinemaCon, Universal Studios has apparently decided that they're no longer going to do original films, and they're going to work on strictly sequels. They are currently developing sequels for Snow White and the Huntsman, Ted, Bourne Legacy, as well as Pitch Perfect, and Fast and Furious 7, the next one, not this one, the next one, has been given a date of July 11th, 2014, next year.
It's nice to see they're coming up with a whole lot of original stuff. Yeah, just a quick tidbit about Fast and Furious 7. James Wan is actually replacing Justin Lin. And this, crazy enough, this is scheduled for July 11th of 2014. Just as a reminder, Fast and Furious 6 is coming out May 24th of this year. So that's basically 11 months but from one movie to the next. And that's a hell of a shorter time to crank out one of these types of movies where you're so stunt heavy. But they did mention a few other tidbits. Like a 47 Ronin with Keanu Reeves is going to come out. It's a holiday release, so I'm assuming Christmas, maybe, hopefully as early as Thanksgiving. Kick-Ass 2 is going to be around August. Ron Howard's got a sports drama called Rush that's going to be coming out.
Oh, that's like Thor is a vroom vroom driver, right? As a race car driver?
Yep. It's like a 70s era Formula One driving or something like that.
Vroom vroom
yeah,
driver.
Instead of vroom vroom driver.
Were you making car noises or Chris Hemsworth noises?
Both. He's very attractive.
But anyway, Rush, and even this one called About Time from the guy who did Four Weddings and a Funeral and Love Actually. And they're both of these last two are getting some Oscar buzz already. So
well, that's good news.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cooler, manlier news. Sly Stallone tweeted that Wesley Snipes was in for Expendables 3, and as well as he's courting Mel Gibson to direct it.
Well, the tweet that Sly sent out saying that Wesley Snipes was going to be in the movie has been taken down, but I can only assume that was just to save the news. Foolish Sly, he should realize that once something is up on the internet, you can delete it all you want, but everybody's still going to know about it. Fucking awesome news. I mean, you want to jam-pack that film with as many action stars as you can? Wesley Snipes more than qualifies.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see him get in there and mix it up with those guys. As far as Mel Gibson directing, I still think the guy's a fucking asshole for the things that he's said and done. But if Sly thinks the guy can direct the film, and I'm sure even try and get him in front of the camera, hell, who am I to hold a grudge? I'd be there. I'd be there anyway, though.
Seriously, you're exactly the guy to hold a grudge.
Yeah, true enough. I don't know. I guess more the Wesley Snipes news is what has really got me kind of pumped. I could care less about Mel Gibson, to be totally honest. But Wesley Snipes, I think the guy's a fantastic action star. He had some troubles, went and paid his dues. Now he's out. Give the guy some movies and get Blade 4 going.
Paid.
He said paid. I think he didn't pay. That's why he paid.
That was why he was.
Oh, that poor Nino Brown. Poor Nino Brown.
All I know is I need to go watch Demolition Man.
Oh, he's so good. I loved him in the 90s. I don't know what shit he got into that he had to start making those crappy direct-to-DVD movies, but he used to be such a good actor and fell apart.
Start going the Mario Van Peebles direction. Like, ugh.
I loved Mario Van Peebles, too. I don't know what the hell. All my icons are going to jail and shit. Walking Dead's Glenn Mazzara has been tapped to adapt a Shining prequel called The Overlook Hotel. Is this a good idea, or do you think we should wait for Stephen King's eventual sequel?
I think it's a good idea and wait for the sequel. Because, this is one that's
okay,
going to be...
Scott.
No, well, this is... you got two different movies. You've got a prequel, and you've got what happens to Danny Torrance after the events in The Shining. So... basically, the meat of this sandwich is a Shining, and then you got the two buns on the other side. So you just bite into all of it, baby. That's what I'm saying. You just take it all in.
God, the two of you are just poets, painting pictures.
Broad strokes.
Beautiful words.
Broad strokes.
Do we know, is Glenn Mazzara, is he working with King in this Overlook Hotel? Is King involved in this, or are they just going to make up whatever the story is going to be completely out of whole cloth with no input from King at all? Did the article say? As
of right now, not this article, but a different article I had read said that King is working on his sequel. He is not actively involved in this. It didn't say if he had any involvement. It just said he's not actively involved in the prequel. Warner Brothers is developing this, which means they own the Shining rights, which is the one movie he's not happy about. So I have a hard time believing that he's actually involved very much at all.
Probably not.
Probably not. We'll see. Well, Robert Downey Jr., the time is coming. He has alluded several times that he will be retiring his Iron Man after Iron Man 3, with the possible exception of Avengers 2. If that happens, do you guys think we should get a new actor or just put the character down for a while?
I think you put the character down. Iron Man was... Its popularity and its success is the entire reason that we've got all these other Marvel films that have come after it, but... Iron Man, even when the news broke that movie was coming out, a lot of people were kind of scratching their heads about, of all the characters that the Marvel Universe has to offer, why Iron Man? He was always kind of a second-tier character at best. He had plenty of fans, but when you think about Marvel, he was not the first character that came to mind.
He was pretty far down the list whenever you start rattling off Marvel.
Yeah, everybody, all the people that they have available to make a movie around. So it's unusual that he was picked, and it's fantastic that it succeeded. But Robert Downey Jr. is facing the same problem that Tom Cruise is facing, in that the hands of time tick on, and you cannot stop yourself from aging and starting to look older and get older. And granted, Iron Man's power comes from his suit, so hell, he could be a paraplegic and probably still be able to be Iron Man. But as an actor, do you want to keep doing this same character over and over and over again? I think it would be fine to let that character kind of retire. Marvel's got a stable as deep as you could want of new characters that they can bring out. That's what these Avengers films really seem to be all about. So let him step back a bit and bring somebody new to the front.
I really couldn't agree more. Just case in point, we've got a movie coming out where one of the major characters of this movie is a raccoon. So,
a gun-toting raccoon.
A gun-toting, talking raccoon. So, my point is there's so many people, so many characters in this Marvel universe that are already in it, and of course that haven't even been introduced yet. So. There's definitely somebody else that can kind of take the banner and kind of be the front man for whatever direction they want to go.
Banner.
He did. He did. Do you know
God, we're awesome tonight. I'm just want to throw that out there.
There's some the Uber nerds on the internet that I've read that are actually saying, well, it's all about the money. He doesn't care about the character and he's deserting the fans.
Bullshit.
I think that is bullshit. I'm like, the guy's given you 4, possibly 5 fucking movies. How long do you want him to play the same guy? He's
as much of an quote unquote artist as any of the other actors out there. And I know the guy he doesn't want to be handcuffed to this for the rest of his career. Mm-hmm. He wants to. He has to want to do other things. Of course, they're probably not nearly as lucrative, but at this point, he's like, I'm sure he's just at the point where, all right, I've had my run. I want to do stuff that's more that I feel is more me or what have you. So.
Yeah, and he still has Sherlock Holmes, so he's got another franchise to fall back on. But I think he's going to do Avengers 2 most likely. He's not signed for it, but he said that the agents and the lawyers were talking. So he's going to get in there and he's going to get paid $75 million because he got paid $50 million for the first one. He's going to make a nice check and then he's going to cash out. And I think that's a good time. Maybe Whedon kills him off in the movie. I don't know what the future holds for Iron Man, but
I don't know if Whedon would kill him off, but it's okay for somebody to quit and tap out at the top of their game instead of coming in for that 6th movie where you can just watch the screen and see them kind of leafing through their wallet as they're acting.
Exactly. Do you want to see your hero come back and then bam, an alien ship shows up? Because it happened to me. That's all I'm saying. Fucking Indiana Jones. I'm still mad at you. All right.
Stupid refrigerator.
Stupid nuke fridge.
Welcome to Brian's Trailer Park. All right, y'all. Let's face it. We're geeks. We're geeks for comics. We're geeks for science fiction, horror. I mean, you name it. So it's with great joy, nay, pride, that I introduce to you the second trailer of what just might be the greatest Superman movie ever made.
Whoa, that's ballsy, Chief.
Look, if this movie is half as good as these trailers, I just might have a new favorite Kryptonian. I'm just saying.
Please make checks payable to Brian Williams, care of Marvel. Or I'm sorry, DC. Fuck, I don't even know which one he is.
In this latest one, the second trailer, the full trailer, and let me say this is the last one that I will watch till I actually see the movie, just because I don't want to see any more. But we do get to see more of his short time on Krypton, some of his early trials growing up with his unique abilities. And, of course, the villain, General Zod, who's played by the awesome Michael Shannon. So I'm just going out on a limb here, Justin. Did this little bit of extra footage get you a little bit more excited, or did it show too much?
I have to say, this is probably one of the most perfect trailers I have ever seen, because it gives you enough of the story so that you feel like you have a grasp on what the movie is going to be about in broad strokes. Right. But it doesn't go too far and start spoiling things. You get enough of what happens on Krypton with Jor-El having to send off Kal-El. You get a couple of shots of General Zod. You see some things on Earth with Kal-El and becoming Clark and growing up, and a really nice emotional scene between Pa Kent and a young Clark Kent. The only thing that these trailers really have not shown at all, and is my only real remaining question, is about Clark Kent as a reporter. We've gotten plenty of Superman, and we've got plenty of Clark as both a boy and as, kind of a man walking to earth, kung fu style. But we haven't really gotten anything about, is he a reporter? Yeah, I'm glad you finally got that. Is he a reporter? Is he Clark Kent, the mild-mannered guy? or is this movie strictly him as Superman? I don't know, but I'm fine with not knowing. It looked amazing. The music was phenomenal. The shots were phenomenal. I watched it, and I almost had to stand up in the middle of my living room and cheer. It was magnificent.
Wow.
Oh, God. I definitely agree. This is probably one of the best trailers, just all around trailers that I've seen in a very long time. And I agree with you. I like the fact that it shows you a lot without revealing too much. And you don't know how it's obviously when you talk about him as being an infant and then a young kid and teenager, and then of course being a young man who's going from everywhere from boats to God knows where to the Arctic, but you're not really sure. I mean, and then you see of course you see Zod, and you also see a clip of him in a jail cell or an interrogation room with the police. So it's kind of like, how on earth is all of this stuff going to be mashed together? And I cannot wait to find out. Honestly, just one of the best trailers I've ever seen. And this is it.
Yeah, don't watch anymore. I will say, when they showed Lois Lane, who's played by Amy Adams, she's sitting there basically with Superman / Man of Steel / Clark Kent / whatever. And that's the only scene you really see her in throughout the trailer. I mean, you might have seen some quick clips, but I don't remember any. But just the fact that they used that little clip to introduce her, so you know she's going to be Lois Lane, and then they pull out and then the clip's over. I like that because they didn't hang on it too long, like you guys were talking about. The trailer never kept one scene too long to where you know everything that's going to happen. I didn't see any correlation between any of the scenes really, except for General Zod's coming, and we kind of see what direction they're going with he's got to find himself and whatnot. That's really all it told you. But everything it showed me made me more interested, which is what a trailer should do.
And this movie, just to cram all of that stuff in a cohesive package, should be at least 2.5 hours long.
It looks like it could be the best comic book movie ever made. And that's,
now we're getting into hyperbole.
I know I'm setting myself up for disappointment, but part of that is based on that for me, Superman is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. And to have a movie finally really bring what Superman is and can be to the screen. I love Richard Donner and I love Christopher Reeve and I love what all of them have done with the Superman movies, but none of them really fully captured what Superman can be. I think Superman Returns got close, especially with that little scene you always saw in the trailers of him floating above the earth, just kind of listening to what's going on and zooming in. But it's that majesticness to the character that this film seems to have captured in spades. I love Superman. I want this to succeed so badly. Please do not fail me on this. It has to work. Come on, Zack Snyder, do not fail me.
Wow, you guys are super fans. Huh. You like that?
No.
That's a really bold statement, though, man. I mean, you've only seen like 2.5, 3 minutes of it, and you're claiming it could be the greatest superhero film of all time.
It looks tonally. It looks magnificent.
Is it because he wears the beard and he's like searching for himself that little bit?
That's part of that. Just adds
part of it. But when he's in the fucking suit and he's just walking, the dude looks like Superman more than anybody has ever looked like Superman. None of the movies have ever really captured his stature. Superman in the comic books is a muscular guy, but Christopher Reeve loved him. But he wasn't a beefy guy. Neither was Brandon Routh. They captured some of his finer qualities in the face and carriage, but just bodily speaking, they were never really that character from the comic books. Well, I don't know if it's this guy's body or the suit, but he looks like Superman.
In fairness to Christopher Reeve, late
78,
late 70s. Sure. That whole time. there wasn't quite the, I don't know.
All the regimens and everything that these
Right,
people.
right. Yeah, exactly. There wasn't the importance of being a just sculpted body. I mean, yeah, people stayed in shape and they ran and they maybe lift some weights and stuff like that. But without, I mean, the bodybuilding scene was way smaller than it is right now. So that's probably part of it. I mean, a small fraction of it, but anyway, it's part of it.
That's an interesting tangent. Let's move on.
Yeah, I could go on. Let's
Yeah.
stop.
So anyway, the Man of Steel opens up June 14th. And now from the Man of Steel to the Girl on Fire.
Oh, that is good.
Golf clap. Golf clap.
Oh my God.
You know who's on fire? You're on fire, Brian. That's who's on fire.
Golly, and we're just getting started.
I just wish somebody put you out.
Oh,
Hey, don't rain on this parade.
Lee, man, I hate you. All right, well, we catch up with Katniss and Peeta after they arrive back at their homeland, only to find that the powers that be are not too thrilled with how the winners are being perceived. I'm sure they're pissed about more than that since I haven't read the books, but it appears that this little love triangle gets a little bit more complicated. And the winners look like they might have to start fending for themselves. Now, Aaron, I know you're just your love for Jennifer Lawrence aside.
Mm-hmm.
Are you planning on catching fire with the Hunger Games sequel?
Dude, that's my thing.
Leave the writing to Justin, please. Dear God.
Well, not the
please.
writing, but the puns. That's mine.
You use the same pun twice. Twice in the same paragraph. I like the first one. I think I gave it an 8 out of 10 or something. And this one looks... I like the tone a lot more because it seems a little bit... I haven't read the book, so I honestly don't know where the story goes. But it seems to be a little less person trying to kill another person staying alive. It seems like there's more of a story to this one. So I'm looking more forward to this one than I was the last one. I still don't like Peeta. I wish they would just recast him. I don't care. I just don't like the guy.
It's just the look on his face.
He just looks so stupid. The whole
Yeah.
just
It's
dumbfounded.
that lazy eye or something. I don't know.
It's a lazy eye. He just looks dumbfounded. Every time he looks in the camera, I'm just like, how would she make out with you and I'm sitting here without her? That makes no sense to me. I really like Liam Hemsworth. I wish he was Peeta, honestly, because he just really charismatic. I know I shouldn't use that word, but hey. I still want to see it. I think it has a lot more plot than the last one, so I'm looking forward to it. I just don't like Peeta. Don't like him.
Yeah, I like it a lot, too. In fact, I think this film, based on the trailer, looks better than the first one. The characters are all tonally really right with where they were in the books. I love the little bits that they showed of Philip Seymour Hoffman and Sutherland, basically just cackling over what they've got planned for Katniss and the rest. But it looks really great. I'm really pleased with where they're going with it. And I'm rather shocked that a huge, huge element of the book is completely missing from this trailer. And I don't know if that's because they haven't finished with that yet or if it's because they're holding it back. But I'll be curious to see what it looks like when they release it. But it looks great. I was really surprised at how much I responded to it.
Good deal. Well, the Hunger Games Catching Fire hits theaters on November 22nd. So we got a little bit of a wait ahead of us here. So anyway, check these out and more at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. And there's a lot of ways you guys can reach us. Our email is feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Go on to facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsiders. Click the like button. Send us some messages and stuff on there. Tweet us at @H_outsider. And don't forget, you can get your official I'm a Hoe t-shirts at thehollywoodoutsiders.com.
Stump the Hoe.
Each week, one of our hosts poses a trivia question to the remaining hosts in an attempt to stump their fellow hosts as well as you listening. This week, it is Justin's turn. He probably just thought of this like 5 seconds ago.
Maybe. Henry Cavill, is it Cavill?
Cavill.
Okay. Henry Cavill, who's playing Superman, seems to have been fated to play that role because back before Superman Returns even got rolling, Cavill was on the short list to play Superman back then. So I'm glad it's finally happened for the guy. But he was also on the short list to play the lead role in another franchise. Which one was it? Was he going to play A, Boromir, in the Fellowship of the Ring? B, Batman, C, James Bond, or D, Wolverine? Aaron?
What was the first one?
Boromir in Lord of the Rings. He was the Sean Bean character.
And the second one?
Batman.
And the third one? I'll go with Batman.
Fucking James Bond and then Wolverine.
I'll go with Batman.
All right, Brian?
I'll say Batman.
The answer is C, James Bond.
Really? I can't see
on the
him
short
as
list
James Bond.
before Daniel Craig got it.
Well, we were stumped. Good job. Good job.
There you go. That's 2 weeks in a row that I've stumped y'all. Boom.
That's true. And we're just going to assume that Scott would have been wrong, so that's bam.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Clean sweep.
Just
Yeah.
safe assumption.
Let's go to
Yeah, because he always takes one of our answers anyway.
That's true. That's true. Now let's go to the big screen. First movie up, 42. I saw it. Scott saw it. Scott's not here, so it's just me. 42, and I'm actually going to try and be serious and not make too many jokes because it's a serious topic and I don't want to get a bunch of email. So 42 is the story of baseball great Jackie Robinson, played by unknown Chadwick Boseman. I've never seen him in anything before. So the film is not so much about his playing prowess, but it's what he did for integrating race into sports. That's what they're covering. So they cover a small section of time. It's not his life story. Brooklyn Dodgers exec Branch Rickey, played by Harrison Ford, he wants a black man to play in Major League Baseball. And at the time, there were none. And despite claims that the races were equal, segregation still pretty much the norm. So what this film captures is Rickey picking Robinson, Jackie's first season as a Brooklyn Dodger, and you get to see what the pain that he goes through, the struggles of men of color at that time, and especially the strength it took for him to go against those odds. So the film 42 isn't a depressing look at the races. You get plenty of whiteys who respected other colors as well, but it doesn't play it easy or safe either. And Justin, you love Firefly, right?
The TV show?
Mm-hmm.
I've been known to sing its praises from time to time.
Time to time. Well, there's a good 5-minute set piece where Alan Tudyk, who played Wash in Firefly,
Tudyk.
Is it Tudyk?
Tudyk.
Yeah, you're adding vowels and stuff that are not even.
There's a whole syllable you put in there.
Son of a bitch. All right. Well, Alan Tudyk, he taunts Robinson with every racial slur you could possibly think of, and you have to watch as him and his teammates, just sit there having to listen to him. It's really hard when you know this actor so well because you've seen him in so many different things. I mean, the hate and slurs that come out of his mouth will boggle your mind. It's just not so much because, well, you can't believe someone's saying that, but you can't believe that he's saying it. But he does it fantastically. It's a really uncomfortable scene. And the ensuing outburst between Jackie Robinson, or his character, Jackie Robinson, the character, after he tries to endure this and almost has a mental breakdown, is just one of the most powerful moments I've seen in a film in a very, very long time. Acting-wise, Harrison Ford, I think he deserves an Oscar nomination, which shocked me because I love the man, but he's not exactly what I would call an actor. He's Harrison Ford, generally that's who he plays. And here, almost unrecognizable. Boseman, he has the most difficult part because he's playing somebody that a lot of people know who he is, or at least what his accomplishments are. And I think he had exactly the right mix of stubborn pride and dignity that was needed for the role. You also see Jackie's relationship with his wife, who's played by Nicole Bahari, and the strength that they both had as a couple. It's very integral to how Jackie gets through the torment and basically mental anguish he has to endure to become the first African-American baseball player. Director Brian Helgeland, he directed classics such as A Knight's Tale. He surprised the hell out of me with this one because I've never seen anything from him that alluded to him being able to take on a dramatic subject like this. He takes it on, he makes it fresh, he turns it into a truly uplifting film. It's a little too long in spots and maybe a little too on the nose in others, but overall, it's a movie I think even baseball haters can enjoy. So I was moved. I don't get moved. That's impressive enough.
No, you don't.
I don't. It's really hard to get me there, and I did. I was actually teared up in several spots. So if $10 is the full price of admission, this one's worth $8.50.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Very impressed. Cinedigm partnered with the National Association of Theater Owners to help 100 drive-in theaters make the transition to digital projectors, necessary to keep drive-in theaters open. I think this is fantastic. Why are you laughing, you son of a bitch? Do any of you partake the local drive-in? You guys, anybody still go?
No, we don't have one, so I don't go. And the idea, and for me, sitting in one of the hottest freaking parts of the country, the idea of sitting there and listening, in my car for a movie just doesn't appeal to me at all.
Yeah, we have one. It's the nearest one, I think, is about 45 minutes away, give or take. And my wife and I went there a couple of years ago. What year was it when The Other Guys came out? That movie with Will Ferrell.
That was like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, that we went and saw that, and kind of like what Brian was saying, it didn't take any time at all before it's like turn the car on, run that AC. It is hot. It wasn't any fun. I think that they have a place in our culture, and certainly they have a place in our history. I saw Star Wars the first time at a drive-in, so there will always be that part of my heart that has a special place for the drive-in movie theater. But I am 40. I need my air conditioning. I need my big comfortable chair, and I need my huge surround sound. Those drive-ins really don't give me any of that. So,
so sad.
I would go with a bunch of friends maybe to see some random comedy, but if I'm going to watch like an action film, a Superman or whatever, I'm going for the biggest screen, biggest seat, biggest surround sound I can find.
That's too bad. There's one that's local to us, and I've always taken my kids to drive-ins. I have since they were little kids. And every year there's a local drive-in theater that has like a horror fest, and basically from dusk till dawn, literally. They play horror movies, and it's all old movies that you would expect to have been at the drive-in when it was out. It's a fun experience. I realize it's a little cumbersome nowadays because everybody wants their perfect sound and their perfect picture and everything else. But for me, it's sweet, and you get 45 people in one car. It costs $8. I think that's impressive.
I mean, if they had like Casablanca at one, I'd probably go do that. If it's just a movie that I'm not gonna miss the surrounding, kind of sound system that a theater can provide, and I'm going to be there with some buddies, then sure. And especially if it's going to be at a time of the year when I'm not going to be sweating my balls off in my vehicle, then I would probably do it. But that's kind of hard to do here, especially when summer hits.
That's probably fair.
It's just not fun.
That's probably fair. All right, our second review. So we got a little break between me yapping. I also saw A Place Beyond the Pines, which I want to stress before anybody goes and looks it up or, prior to seeing it. Don't read any synopsis on this, because I actually made that mistake right before I went and saw the movie. And IMDb, I think it was IMDb, the actual summary spoils one of the major plot twists. So
wow.
I don't do that, because I'm telling you, you'll be very disappointed. The trailer tells you exactly what the movie is, but anything more than that will spoil a lot of the twists in the film. Essentially, this is what the movie is about. It's about two men and how their lives and choices coincide with both relationships with their fathers as well as their respective sons. They both have 1-year-old sons. So Ryan Gosling plays Luke. He's a circus motorcycle rider who comes back to Schenectady, New York after a year on the road, only to find out he fathered a baby with Eva Mendes the last time he rode through. It's not a bad problem to have.
No, I'd hit it.
First world problems. He has a hard time making enough money, so he starts robbing banks, because that's what you do. I've been a single dad, I understand. Utilizing his talents as a writer to assist his getaways. Bradley Cooper stars as Avery. He's a rookie cop with a law degree. His father would prefer that he use instead of putting his life at risk. Well, he ends up becoming the victim of a shooting. That incident propels him into higher standing with local cops, and it isn't long before Avery is knee-deep in police corruption, and he's unsure which way he wants to go. So Luke and Avery's paths cross in unexpected ways. I'm not going to tell you what they are, because it'll ruin the film. But changing the course for both men for the rest of their lives, as well as their kids. So anything after this would be giving away too much. So if you're interested, so far, you'll be interested in the film. Just check it out. It's not a crime thriller. I want to stress that. Several people have asked me, is this like a crime flick? It's not. It's really a character drama. It's more about Luke and Avery's relationship with their sons than the bank robberies, which I think are stressed a little too much in the trailer. But director Derek Cianfrance does an admirable job keeping the twist coming, as well as keeping the movie involving as the plots and characters continue to evolve. So Ryan Gosling, he smolders. That's what the guy does. I mean, he stares at the camera like it owes him money. That's just what he does. And I give him grief about it, but dude, he's the best smolderer in the film. So if that's a word, he nails it every time. Bradley Cooper, another solid performance, and I have to say that he's turned into one hell of an actor. I've always liked him, but always thought of him as like that smart ass with very little depth, and he's really becoming a really multifaceted actor. I'm really impressed with him and Ryan Gosling too. I think Brian, you might even like Ryan Gosling in this movie. He's the same character from Drive, but you know. Overall, Place Beyond the Pines, very involving drama. There is a little bit of a lull in the last act. It doesn't bear repeat viewing that I could see, which hurts it a little bit, but definitely features some excellent performances. If $10 is the full price of admission, this one's worth $7.50.
Excellent.
Yes, thank you. Excellent. Box office. 42 was number one. $27.4 million, the biggest baseball opening ever.
Even without Wild Thing in it?
Mm-hmm. Even without Charlie Sheen. They're saying it could make $100 million, which would make it only the second baseball flick to ever do that. The first one being A League of Their Own.
Yeah, even the world's probably most boring sport can make a good movie every now and again.
It's really not about the sport, though. I mean, there's baseball in it, but I don't like baseball either. And it's not in it. I mean, it's in it a lot, but it's not really relevant as much as you would think. Scary Movie 5, $14.1 million. That's a flop. Probably killed the franchise. We're all thankful.
No!
Yes, thank you, America.
Said no one ever.
The Croods, $13.1 million for $142 million total. They just okayed a sequel, so get ready. Croods 2 coming
Electric
through.
Boogaloo.
Mm-hmm.
Prehistoric Boogaloo. I just tickled myself.
G.I. Joe Retaliation, $10.8 million. It's got $100 million, but it's a huge hit overseas. Evil Dead dropped 63%. It's pretty normal for a horror flick. $9.4 million, so it's made $41 million. They are already doing a sequel. Jurassic Park 3D dropped a lot, actually. $8.8 million for $31.9 million, but I hear it was already a hit, so that doesn't need to make that much.
All right, guys, we've got 3 films that we're going to be discussing this week, all of them opening up on April 26th. The first one's a limited release, and it's Mud. This one's a coming-of-age film written and directed by Jeff Nichols, and it stars Aaron's favorite actor, I think, really, of all time, Matthew McConaughey. It also stars Ty Sheridan, Jacob Laughlin, and Reese Witherspoon. 2 teenage boys encounter a fugitive and form a pact to help him evade the bounty hunters on his trail and to reunite him with his lost love. Aaron, I can almost guarantee you'll see this one just so you can get to do your McConaughey. So I'm going to instead ask Brian. Brian,
son of a bitch.
You ready to get dirty and see this one?
Yeah, I kind of do. McConaughey's got a pretty good track record with these smaller budgeted movies. I think he'll do fine in it. I think it intrigues me. So yeah, I'm count me in.
All right, Aaron, go.
I hear he's a lawbreaker in this one. I want to see it. The trailer, you should fuck off. The trailer looks great. It actually surprised me. We looked at it a couple weeks ago. I've seen it a few more times since. I really like him as an actor right now. I think he's hitting all cylinders. I've seen him he's taken a lot of smart roles. I'm really looking forward to see what this movie really is. It's getting a lot of critical attention. I'm very curious.
I hear you guys, but there's just, I don't know what it is. There's just something about him that didn't used to, put me off, but lately it's been putting me off. I can't really recall the last Matthew McConaughey movie I went to go see. I'm trying to think of it right now, and I can't think of it. There's something about him that's putting me off.
Is it his beautiful body?
Though.
Is that what it is?
Do what?
Is it his beautiful body? Does that make you...
Well, maybe it's all the pot smoking that I'm jealous of, or the naked bongoing, or all the money. Maybe mix them together. It's something in there is just making me go, meh. So I don't know if I'll be seeing this one, but I understand why people would go see him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, second film, The Big Wedding. Now, this is a comedy directed by Justin Zachem. It's an American remake of an original film from France called Mon Frère C'est Marie, written by Jean-Stéphane Braun and Karen Soudan. It stars a large ensemble cast, including Robert De Niro, Katherine Heigl, Diane Keaton, Amanda Seyfried, Topher Grace, Susan Sarandon, and Robin Williams. Don and Ellie Griffin, a long-divorced couple, are forced to pretend that they're still happily married as their adopted son, Alejandro's wedding approaches. His biological mother, a Catholic from Colombia, is now attending and has not been told that her son's foster parents got divorced. Among all of their family and friends, the hoax snowballs into a poignant and raucously funny story about the ties that bind. Given that you're a soppy wet romantic, Aaron, I can't imagine you'll let an opportunity to weep and find joy and love pass you by. Are you going to be tying the knot with this one?
No. No. I think I've been moved a little too much the last couple weeks, so I'm good for my yearly.
You got in your quota of tears?
I don't need any more. This doesn't look entertaining. Katherine Heigl, I used to love her, and now I just want her to go away. And Robert De Niro, I mean, just the fact that he's in it isn't exactly a good indication of what's to come. I mean, he's got Silver Linings Playbook, and that's about it in the last 5 years. So, pass.
What about you, Brian?
Yeah, I ditto all that. it just doesn't appeal. It's just one of those. It just for whatever reasons just doesn't appeal to me. I'll pass.
Oh, there's a lot of reasons this shouldn't appeal to you, and all of them, each one is valid as the next. I'm sorry, this film looks by the numbers. In today's world, at least in America, does it really make sense that a couple that's divorced is going to pose some kind of problem? I don't care where this person's biological mother comes from. In America, people are getting divorced more and more. I don't see why they would have to pretend anything. This film seems like it should have been made about 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
with Hugh Grant.
Right. Now, I think personally this one, I'm saving the best one for last. Pain and Gain. This is an action comedy directed by Michael Bay, and the film is based on a 1999 series of Miami New Times articles surrounding the brutal kidnapping, extortion, torture, and murder of several victims by an organized group of criminals that included a number of bodybuilders. 2 members of the Sun Gym gang received death sentences in Florida and sit on Florida's death row right now.
Wow.
Daniel Lugo, played by Mark Wahlberg, is a regular bodybuilder who works at the Sun Gym along with his friend Adrian Dorbel, played by Anthony Mackie. Sick of living the poor life, Lugo concocts a plan to kidnap Victor Kershaw, played by Tony Shalhoub, a regular at the gym, and a rich, spoiled businessman, and extort money from him by means of torture. With the help of recently released criminal Paul Doyle, played by The Rock, the Sun Gym gang successfully get Kershaw to sign over all of his finances. But when Kershaw survives an attempted murder by the gang, he hires private investigator Ed Dubois to catch the criminals after the Miami Police Department fails to do so. I got to be honest. I was really wanting to love this movie a lot more before I learned that this is actually based on not only a true story, but from the sound of it, a pretty brutal story. And to take that and then make a comedy out of it seems really kind of in bad taste, but fuck it. It's Michael Bay. I love the guy. I don't give a shit what people say. I'm just going to pretend that those things never happened. And maybe that makes me a terrible human being. If so, I'm sorry. But I want to see a new Michael Bay. I want to see a new rated R Michael Bay. And I want to see a Mark Wahlberg and Dwayne Johnson not only kicking the shit out of people, but cracking some jokes too. The trailers, especially the last one, has looked hysterically funny and action-packed. Fuck it. I'm gonna go with this one. What about you two?
Real quick, do you guys think that possibly it's the marketing that's making it seem like there's a lot of jokes and maybe it is really going to go dark? Because I haven't heard that it's not a really dark movie. I've only from the trailer.
It may, but if it goes dark, it's definitely the trailers are painting a very different picture.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. I was just curious what you guys thought.
Yeah, I was kind of curious about the same thing, that it would be possibly damaging that here it is, you kind of marketed this towards being a comedy, but if it is a darker movie, then a lot of people may be kind of upset about that.
Yeah, because the subject matter is really evil. It's not even just dark, it's evil. I mean, these guys were fucking evil. Just sons of bitches. But the movie looks really entertaining. So it's kind of like, can you just let it go and walk in the door and forget about it? Probably.
I mean, it looks like Bad Boys with 3 guys instead of 2.
3 really strong guys.
Yep.
Well, and they're criminals instead of the cops. But I'm sorry, a trailer that uses thrift shop, I gotta love the movie that comes from that.
I mean, damn, they're rolling in a Pontiac Fiero.
Oh, can't go wrong with that.
No.
All right, guys. Well, of these three films that are coming out April 26th, Mud, The Big Wedding, and Pain and Gain, which one are you most likely to go in the theaters and check out? Aaron?
Mud.
And Brian?
God, I want to say Mud, but I'll probably wait for a video. So I'm going to go with Pain and Gain.
All right, well, then we'll make this one a 2 for Pain and Gain for me as well.
All right. Whole pick of the week. All right. Where you can hear us, subscribe on iTunes, Zoom, Google Listen, and your Stitcher Radio app. Give us a thumbs up if you do, or any plain old RSS feed, as well as RockfordCollegeRadio.com Thursdays from 4 to 6.
What's this movie?
What's this movie? Each week, play ours or a listener-suggested clip from a movie, and if you think you know what the clip is, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com, or you can send us a message on Twitter at H_outsider. Did somebody fall off? What happened?
No, sorry. I was pushing something off my desk. I apologize.
Was it a child or a cat, perhaps?
No, it was a couple kids.
Okay. That's okay then. And email us or tweet us or Facebook, and we'll announce those that got it correct in the air and give you a proper whole shout-out. Last week's answer was Scott's pick, and it was Pool Hall Junkies. And no one even tried. So
Nobody's seen that fucking movie.
I will say, Mr. Clark, I know you're not here, and that was a little obscure. Even I had no idea what that... None of us actually knew what that was.
No, I've seen the movie and liked the movie. Still didn't get it.
So it was pretty obscure. So I guess, kudos to you. You found one that no one could think of. But shame on you. You found one no one could think of. So this week it's Brian's turn. And this one I think is a little bit more fun and a little easier. But if you think you know what it is, email us and let us know. Here's your clip.
There's a penalty for that?
Yeah, and for a trip also, like that, and for hook like this, and for spear, like that. All bad.
Bad.
You do that, you go to the box, 2 minutes by yourself, and you feel shame, and then you get free.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. I think that went very well.
And now we'll go to TV and home video news. I still can't hear because Justin screamed at me during the break. But
We had it coming.
I did have it coming. The Red Band trailer for Hemlock Grove is out. This is the second Netflix original series, and it should be out when you listen to this. All 13 episodes will once again be available at once. This is why I shouldn't be allowed to write.
He'll read anything that's put in front of him.
This looks like a werewolf version.
Let's try that again.
This looks like a werewolf version of True Blood, Brian. You think so?
I don't know. I'll probably give it a little bit. I've got enough shows I'm committed to right now. I think it's got a little bit interesting look, but I'm just going to kind of hold off.
I think it looks really interesting, and I don't even like Eli Roth, who's behind it.
I think it looks pretty cool, and luckily I have just cleared off another show out of my queue, so I've got an opening, and if this one is out as we speak, then hell, after we get done recording, I'm going to hang up right now.
Now, let me ask you a question, Justin. Now, you've got your TV rule where if it doesn't get renewed for a second season, blah, 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 blah. Now, with this one, is this an exception since it's a Netflix series? I don't know.
Well, I make an exception for it because at least I know that the first season is complete. I'm not going to get the Firefly treatment of having halfway through the season and it gets dropped.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Just curious. And also, what do you guys think about, while we're on it real quick, the 13 episodes at once? Do you wish that they would space them out a little bit, or are you happy with them dumping it all at once?
No, I like that they're doing it all at once. If you don't want to watch them all at once, then don't. But if you want to, then do. It's giving you the option instead of forcing you to watch something at someone else's schedule.
Well, the reason I ask is I'm thinking actually from Netflix's standpoint. It's hard to build word of mouth when you can watch them all at once. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no water cooler talk and that sort of thing. Yeah,
but you're not. Netflix isn't subjected to the time slots and ratings scrutiny that NBC is or that AMC is, FX, HBO. I mean, they don't have to have people tune in at a certain time on a certain night. So you can just give it to them all at once. They're going to watch it or they're not going to watch it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, why conform yourself to some arbitrary standard that other people have to follow if you don't have to?
Look at Justin, always fucking the man.
That's right.
Did anybody watch the MTV Movie Awards?
No.
Okay.
No, because I'm older than fucking 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently a lot of other people did, and I've had people come up to me that listen to the show, or they've messaged me or whatever that listen to the show, and said, you guys, you often say you wish that they rewarded the movies that we love, that people love, but MTV Movie Awards, don't they do that? I don't think they do that. Whenever I do watch it, to me, why does it feel like they're mocking the films that we love? They're not,
because they have stupid freaking categories like best screen kiss. I can't take anything seriously that has stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and I know you love the Academy Awards, Aaron, but to me, I find them incredibly dry and a bit boring and a little pretentious. But if you want to look at the exact polar opposite of that, then you're getting the MTV Movie Awards, where they are appealing to the lowest common denominator. They are basically, I wouldn't say that they're belittling what we love, but they're speaking to an audience that literally has the maturity level of a 13-year-old, because that's who most of their viewers seem to be, or at least that's who they think they are, because everything is molded in that direction. Everything is silly. Everything is stupid. I haven't watched it in years, and whenever I see clips from it, I'm reminded why I don't see it. For me, the answer to the Academy Awards isn't the MTV Movie Awards. You don't have to go to that extreme to bring some attention and love to the sorts of films that I love, which are more often than not the genre films that the Academy doesn't feel are worthy of being given awards. But you don't have to just act as though we're all believers and we want to see these people pulling off these just inane little pranks in between the awards. They mean nothing. I mean, hell, for this one of the winners was Jennifer Lawrence. She didn't show. And I respect her for not showing.
Well, I think she was busy. I don't think she was blowing it off.
Well, hopefully she wouldn't have gone even if she wasn't busy. Have a look. I mean, Rebel Wilson hosted it, and I think Rebel Wilson's incredibly funny, and I think she has got a pretty bright career ahead of her. But it's okay for her to host it because she's a comedian. What she does is funny, and some of the things that she does that are funny are also, aimed at a juvenile kind of audience. So that's fine. But someone of Jennifer Lawrence's ability, I would kind of feel like they were slumming it to go to these. This is a little better than the Razzies, really, in my opinion. They don't take movies seriously. I wouldn't say they're belittling it, but they're definitely not appealing to its more loftier aspirations. It's pretty base level bullshit.
To the people that have asked me that, what I would say to you is MTV Movie Awards, I think when it started, was similar to the answer that I want. I mean, I think they really wanted to go the less pretentious route and reward movies that people love. And slowly but surely they got away from that. And, it used to be where it was fun, but they also appreciated the movies they were talking about. Anymore, it's not. It's appeasing that low denominator. I mean, it's tweens and that sort of thing, which is fine. I mean, if they enjoy it, go ahead, enjoy it. I think it's ridiculous. What I want is something that rewards the films that we love that are artistically. I mean, with integrity, not necessarily boring and pretentious and stuffy, but just to acknowledge the genre movies and that sort of thing as being art, as being critically acceptable. And that's what I want. I don't want this shit. I love Sam Jackson. I don't want this kind of award show where he always shows up and then they have some stupid ass single released and it's basically an excuse to showcase another musical act. They don't even have videos anymore. I don't know. Just get away from it.
I blame Howard Stern and Fart Man.
That's when it turned.
That's when it turned.
There's probably actually some truth to that, man. There probably is. Now let's go to DVD and Blu-ray. Justin, let's do your best Scotty.
Well, I don't know. Can I try to do Scotty doing Brian? No, I don't think I could pull off that kind of intricate.
That would be phenomenal if you could do it.
All right, we're going to be talking about several films that are coming out on DVD on April 23rd. First up is Gangster Squad. This stars Ryan Gosling, Josh Brolin, and Emma Stone, and tells the story of a police unit tasked with stopping the mob at all costs. Scotty gave this one a 7 out of 10 on episode 76. We're also going to have a haunted house, which stars Marlon, You Brought Yo Bitch to the Waffle Hut Waynes, and Cedric the Entertainer. This is a spoof on the Paranormal Activity franchise. None of us went to the movies to review this one. We also have The Impossible. This is an overwrought drama about a family ripped apart by a tsunami, and it stars Naomi Watts and Ewan McGregor, all of them looking at the screen constantly with a "Where is my family?" Ooh,
can I point out something about that movie real quick?
Sure.
You've got this movie. Where did that take place? The tsunami was in
India.
India, and the movie's about white people. What the fuck is that? I'm pretty sure there's far more displaced Indians than there were white people.
Well, I mean, who are they going to cast to have this sell in?
We don't recognize
America?
any of them, though.
I mean, I don't think Slumdog is going to bring in the American audience.
I guess, man.
You gotta have white folk, apparently.
I just think that's horrible. But sorry, go ahead.
All right. Next up, Promised Land. This came and went like a fart in a tornado or gas out of a fractured shale, which is appropriate since that's what this crap starring Matt Damon and John Krasinski is all about. Lastly, we have Wuthering Heights. Now, this is a new interpretation out in case you missed the previous 100 or so. Starring Solomon Graves, Shannon Beer, and James Howson. Wuthering Heights tells the story of a boy falling in love with the farmer's daughter, who also happens to have an angry brother. Yeah. All of those are coming out April 23rd.
I do want to see Gangster Squad, so I can see Ryan Gosling smolder some more.
I'll probably rent it on iTunes or something, but yeah, I don't think any of these are something I'm going to buy. I'll take that week off so I can enjoy my Django Unchained again.
Ooh, yeah. Hit me with that unknown shit. Flashback.
All right, well, now we've got our flashback segment. Flashback is where one of us hosts talks about a little-known or obscure film. Brian, this week it's your time, so flash us back. Give us something.
All right, well, I'm flashing us back to 1991, and before he became a fat little hobbit, Sean Astin played in a little action movie, if you want to call it that, called Toy Soldiers.
I love that movie. Oh, I love that movie.
It is so good.
Oh, with Will Wheaton.
Yes.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton?
Wheaton.
With his cool whip?
With his cool whip.
Your mic
Brian,
is,
you need to stop doing that.
yeah, your
You're
mic
just
is
blowing
so
out your
distorted
mic.
when you do that.
The plot's fairly simple and basically kind of far-fetched, but it really works for this movie. It's a Colombian cartel takes over a boarding school and holds the students hostage. A lot of these students, they're sons of prominent members of political parties, owners of large corporations, and even a federal judge that happens to be overseeing the trial of the father of the main villain. So anyway, basically, there's some pretty good high tension in this movie. Some pretty good jokes. Of course, the good late 80s, early 90s action style, really before Terminator 2 kind of flipped the whole action movie genre on its head, but just shortly thereafter. So, Toy Soldiers, check it out.
Hey, when you can beat terrorists with a remote control plane, you know you're making a win.
I thought that was such a fun movie, and Sean Astin was really, before he was the Fat Hobbit, was actually really entertaining, man. It was great. I like that movie a lot. And the fact that, 4 teenagers outwitted in a small army.
An army that figured out how to get all their stuff to America and take over a school,
It's one of those movies as a kid you find really inspiring. Like, yeah, we could do that. And then when you get to it and be an adult, you're like, no, we could never have done that.
We would have been fucked up.
We would have been killed.
All right, let's go to From the Outside In. Our topic this week, we have 2 parts. So the first part was one of our listeners.
Hey, Ashley.
Hey, Ashley.
What's up?
She asked a question. What crime would the hose commit on the day of the Purge? I must know. And for those that aren't aware, the Purge is a movie that's coming out at the end of May, I believe. And essentially the plot is America is crime-free now, and every year, the reason it's crime-free is they allow a 12-hour window. On one day, for 12 hours, you can commit any crime you want, and there's no punishment, there's no repercussions, nothing. That's what the Purge is.
Mad Max for 12 hours.
So she said, what would the hose commit on the day of the Purge? Who wants to go first? Because I'm pretty sure surprise sex with Jennifer Lawrence is pretty horrible to say. But
I've talked before about, and I think I've talked about it on this show, but I've always wanted to do a heist. So I have to imagine that if I must commit a crime, and me being the good little boy that I am, I would never commit a crime. But if I had to, I would probably rob a bank.
oh, that's on my list too.
I'd find me a bunch of badass dudes, and we would rob that bitch.
Would you get a president's mask? Because that's what I was going to do.
I don't know. I might just go with Joker mask.
You wouldn't need a mask.
Oh, I'd still get one. Fuck it.
You have to wear the mask. I mean, it's the accoutrement. You got to have it.
And then I would just say, my name is Aaron. I'm here to rob your bank. You can find me. Here's my social security number. Fuck off.
And you can tweet me at H_outsider.
Yeah, H_outsider. Anything else, or is that the big one?
I would probably be tempted to head out to Beverly Hills and find some Kardashians, maybe find some other absolutely useless people that are getting far too much fame for very little talent, and just go completely ballistic and blow them all to hell.
Wow.
Yeah, you'd find Kardashian ass from I think probably from Beverly Hills to San Francisco. There's enough of it.
I think you already can find that.
You can. Pretty good finding. All up and down the PCH there, huh?
What about you, Brian? What would you do?
Oh yeah. See, I would take notes all year, and basically I would then stalk and hunt and track down like all sorts of people. And just murder the shit out of them. Starting with anybody who wears their pants just below their ass cheeks. Anybody who blasts their stereo at inappropriate places like gas pumps or drive-thrus.
Motorcycle fuckers revving their engine at the middle of the night.
Right. Anybody who just excessively talks loud at movies.
Oh.
If you go ninja on their ass.
Yep. Cell phones, same thing. Hey, you got a quick little text message you got to check out, fine. But to sit there and look at I've gone over that before. I'm not going down the road.
Done. You're done. That's what's going to make you make their cash their chips.
That's it. People who leave boogers on like the wall at the urinal.
Oh,
what is it about going to the bathroom that makes you do that? I just don't understand that. So I don't know. Anyway, I've got about 45 more, but we don't have time for all that.
You'd be busy.
Yeah, I would have a busy 12 hours. I might need to rob a gas station to keep my car filled up.
Grab some snacks.
Wow.
What about you, Aaron? What heinous crimes would you commit?
Well, I preface this with I would never do these things because they're deplorable. But I know I have specifically at least 3 people I would take out with a crossbow because I want that shit to hurt. Yeah, exactly. And I would do it slow. I would take like 4 arrows for each person. You know what I'm saying? They're going to remember this shit. I would rob the bank. That's another one. I want to do that. I'd grab Justin and Brian and find, what was it, those church people, Westmoro?
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'd remind them that I disagree with their beliefs for the explosives.
With like a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah. I'd picket those motherfuckers. And then I'd stab them with their fucking picket signs. That's what I'd do. And then head to Washington and find all the corporate congressmen and hold a little private session. That's what I'd do.
Roast some lobbyists.
That's what I'd do. And then, surprise sex
find
with
those
Jennifer
NRA
Lawrence.
lobbyists and find out how much they really like guns.
Oh, man. All right, well, that's your answer, Ashley. I hope you still want to listen to the show. So that's what's in our minds.
Remember, we would never do these things, really.
No, these are hypothetically. And,
right. In that movie of The Purge, this is what we would do.
Really? Well, here's what I think. Normally we spend our time with puppies and shit like that. I mean, we help the homeless. We're always doing charity. So when they do have this, I think it's fair. I think we have it coming to us.
Balance it out.
Exactly. Now, let's go to our second topic, bad movies we love. This is one these guys really want to talk about. We aren't saying necessarily guilty pleasures because we all like what we like. We're saying movies we know are bad, but we still love them. Brian. What is a bad movie? You know it's bad. You know it's not good, and you still love it.
This is the main movie that came up to me quite a bit was Flash Gordon.
That's bad. Yeah.
It's I loved it as a kid. I don't have a good reason for it. Maybe just it played on TBS or something too many times. I just got brainwashed into it. I don't know. For whatever reason, I love that movie. I will still watch it to this day. I love the soundtrack. It's stupid. It's cheesy. It's bad acting and horrible special effects. But there are certain people in that movie that I still even though I see them in other movies, they've gone on to other things. When I see them, I still relate them to Flash Gordon. So
Brian Blessed will forever be that Hawk guy.
Right.
Wow, that's a good pick. What about you, Justin? You got any?
Hell, Queen alone is enough to love that movie.
The soundtrack is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a fucking lengthy list of movies that I know are terrible, but I love them anyway. Howard the Duck. You know, nobody seems to like it, but my brother and I had a VHS copy of it when we were kids. We probably wore that thing out watching it and rewatching it. It's terrible, but I love it. Con Air is a pretty terrible film, but Nicolas Cage's mullet is enough to pull me in and keep me there. Last Action Hero, a terrible movie with just deplorable writing, but damn it if it's just not fun. I mean, it's Arnold, probably one of his last good performances. The Alien versus Predator movies, they're shit. Still like them. I don't know why. I'm just a fanboy of both those franchises.
Wow, that's ballsy.
I do like them, and you know, here's one that I actually found on a website, and I was like, oh shit, I haven't seen that in years. Stone Cold.
Oh, with Brian Bosworth.
Brian Bosworth.
Brian fucking Bosworth. I remember that.
I loved that movie when I was younger.
I think that's a great movie. I loved Hard Target. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That mullet too.
Oh, that was so good.
John Woo's first.
Everything's
American
slow
film,
motion. I mean, he punches a snake. Top that, Hollywood. He knocked the fuck out of a cobra. Oh, that's so good. I like Fire Down Below. It's a Steven Seagal movie. It's not great. It's not good. I love that movie. I have no idea why.
Apply that to every Steven Seagal movie. It's not great. But...
That's true. That's true. But he's got a lot of really awful ones that aren't good. I really like that one. I have no idea why. I can't even give you a reason. Out for Justice is another Steven Seagal movie where I know it's not good. I mean, he has the worst New York accent or Jersey accent, wherever the hell he's from, Brooklyn. Awful. And he's trying to be dramatic, and he's awful.
Who was the woman in that from Weird Science?
No, that was Hard to Kill. Kelly LeBrock?
I'm sorry. I got the catalog of Seagal films mixed up. I apologize.
I will honestly say Hard to Kill is not a bad movie. Because it has my favorite movie line of all time, which is fuck you and die.
Is that the one where, like, the opening scene, he throws the pimp through the windshield?
No, that's the convenience. It's hard to keep him straight, man. That was a convenience store. Hard to Kill he opens in a convenience store.
I remember that.
It opened on Oscar night. Oh, God, it's sad that I remember that. Shit. Under Siege was a good Seagal movie. Sorry. Now we're going to talk about...
Erica Eleniak.
Oh, and she comes out of that cake.
Comes out of that cake.
Oh, my God. Best cake ever.
One of... It's made me hungry. Bad Moon is one that I love, and it's not a good movie at all. Is that Mario Van Peebles? No.
Because he did a movie, I think, that has Moon in the title, where it was about these werewolves that were they were a police unit that was getting all kinds of awards because of their arrest records and shit, but they were actually all vampires.
I want to find that movie.
No, not vampires. They were werewolves.
I want to find
And Mario Van Peebles became one. Shit, what was that movie called?
I don't know, but this is about a werewolf.
It's terrible, but it was actually kind of fun when I was a kid.
well, My Bad Moon. It had Mariel Hemingway, Michael Paré. Remember him? Shit, he was
Eddie and the Cruisers.
Yeah, Eddie and the Cruisers, and Mason Gamble, who played Dennis the Menace he was popular for like a minute. But Michael Paré, he's like this. is the Mariel Hemingway's brother gets bit by a werewolf and basically he turns into a werewolf slowly.
Yeah, I remember this now.
Well,
yeah,
it's really, I love it because basically the movie's told from the fucking dog's point of view. That Mason Campbell has the dog, and it's the dog is the hero of the movie. And I just love that fucking movie because the dog saves everybody, and he's a real character. I've never seen a dog done as a character so well as I did in that shitty fucking werewolf movie. I love it. And Ford Fairlane.
Oh God, I didn't know if you were going to mention it. I had it ready to go in case you
it
didn't.
was mentioned on our Facebook, and we're going to name everybody's that they suggested as well. But Adventures of Ford Fairlane, it's always on my list. I realize it's an awful movie. I realize it's misogynistic. I realize the comedy is so dated. I don't fucking care, you know. Oh,
Do the dishes.
do my dishes. Oh, don't worry if you don't fall, I'll make it.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
It's just
Zoom pedals.
Zoom pedals. Oh, it's just one of those movies where it's so ridiculously awful and it's so quotable
God,
at the
terrible, but
same
it's so
time.
good.
At the same time, it's so good.
What was the song that Ed Bundy or whatever his name is?
Oh, Booty Time.
Booty time, booty time, cross
up
USA. Booty time,
Booty time.
Yeah. Oh God, I've got to watch that again. Fuck, that better be on iTunes.
And the best part about that movie is he actually sings a song that's really good. Like, the song's really catchy. I got chicks to the left of me, chicks to the right of me, chicks all around me, but I ain't got you. Oh.
Toe Loc was in that.
He was. Yeah, they had a lot of... They were positioned that was going to be Dice's big movie, and now he's doing Vegas. It didn't work out, but...
No. Oh, it's not on iTunes. God damn it.
I've got the DVD. You can find it on DVD. Oh, the movie, the Mario Van Peebles movie, Van Peebles? Mario Van Peebles movie, Brian found it. It's called Full Eclipse.
There you go.
Of the Heart? I don't know. But
Oh, I've got it on
It was
DVD.
it was a TV movie.
Was it?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that explains some of the piss poor special effects and shit.
And you want to know a movie that's considered bad, but that almost all of us listening, I'm sure, love? Boondock Saints.
I've never seen it. I have it on Blu-ray and have yet to watch it.
Oh, shame on you.
Oh my God.
I know.
Shepherds we shall be for thee.
But I have Ford Fairlane on DVD. I just saw it, so I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, that one's not going to be on Blu-ray. I can almost promise it.
Oh, and Jazz. What was the name of that actress?
Lauren Holly. Yeah.
Oh, God, she was so beautiful in that.
She was. And that scene where he's chewing food and putting it in her mouth. Oh, God. Here is some of our listeners' suggestions. You guys ready? We'll talk about them as they come up. Michael H. says, Masters of the Universe.
Oh, terrible. Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph
Oh, my God.
Oh, bad.
Evil Lynn, though. God, that chick was hot.
That was
With
actually...
the really pale eyes.
I kind of liked it. I don't know. There's something about it that was wrong. And
Yes.
by the way, Michael H. is... he has the best avatars. He's got Shonuff as his avatar. Genius. That's all I'm saying. Genius.
Who the master?
Shonuff. Scott M. says, Return of the Living Dead. Send more cops.
You
didn't like that one?
When I was a kid, I liked it, but I recently...
It didn't hold up very well.
No.
Like past like 2 years after.
No.
I love Return of the Living Dead. I actually think that's a great movie. So I'm with you, Scott. Nice job.
Great's a bit strong, but I understand where you're coming from.
Dude, that's a great movie. How do you not like that movie?
It's great in the same way as like Monster Squad. You know, as a kid, it works a lot better than it does as an adult.
I think it's one of the best zombie movies. Sorry.
Oh, jeez.
Man, okay, now you're getting out there.
Michael H. also had another one. He said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Not 1 or 2. 3.
Wasn't the Turtles in Time?
I don't know which one. Yeah, because the second one's the Ooze one, right? Return of the Ooze. He said it's garbage, but I got to watch that one after I see the first two.
I don't watch the first two. I mean, do we need Ninja... What was it, Ninja Rap?
I think so.
That Ed?
I think so. Greg S. says, it pains me to say Transformers 2. I am totally aware of how awful it is, but that still hasn't stopped me from rewatching and rewatching.
F you guys. I love those films, and I
Yep.
am not abashed. I don't care if people call them bad. I think they're pretty good.
I fly my Michael Bay flag high. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Fair enough. Oh, Justin V says, how about Action Jackson? Carl Weathers when he like nearly tore that guy's arm off.
His best role is still, I think, in Predator.
Oh, he was great. But Action Jackson was like his one shot at, a huge future.
Yeah,
It didn't
career.
work out. Didn't work out. Brad P says, Critters. I have a soft spot for 80s monster movies. That's a good choice, man. I really like Scott Grimes. Was that the kid's name? I remember seeing that fucking movie in the theater.
Critters wasn't that those like fat mouth like balls of fur with
Just
teeth
like
or
little
something?
furry teethed up groundhogs.
Yeah.
But they also had those really weird bounty hunters chasing them at the same time. I mean, it's like all kinds of different movies wrapped into one. I thought it was fantastic.
I think I saw it once and never saw it again.
Well, shame on you. Honorable mentions to Hudson Hawk,
Oh God, yes.
Bunny, Ball.
when they're robbing that location and they're all keeping time by singing "Wishing on a Star."
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, that's funny.
That was actually one of the more clever things I've seen in a movie, and too bad the movie didn't make any money. But
I'll kill you so slow you'll think it's a career.
I'm telling you, that scene where he shoots the ball out the window, shoots the ball out the window to the
Funny,
dog.
ball.
So funny. Oh my
funny.
God. They killed a puppy in a movie. It's freaking hysterical. And he said, honorable mentions to Hudson Hawk and Adventures of Fort Fairlane. Yes.
Good man.
Which
good
I
man.
which I refuse to acknowledge their perceived badness. Kudos
Yep.
to you, sir. Kudos to you. I gotta tell you, there's a lot of bad movies out there, and I want more people to send us like their bad movies that we should watch. Because I'm curious. I'd like to watch some bad movies that are really good.
I don't know, bro. That's a Pandora's box you may not want to have open.
Oh, man. Okay, anything else before we wrap?
Oh, but what about movies that people rave about, in general, but you personally either don't see the love or you can't stand it or you just think it's overrated? To me, this is the more dangerous of the two. It's easy to love something people don't like. It's harder to dislike something a lot of people love.
Well, what do you think?
For me, the pinnacle of this is 2001. I think that film is boring, pretentious shit. But people want to rave that it's, oh my God, it's one of the best science fiction films ever made. I think it's boring. I've tried watching it. I continually fall asleep. It offers nothing. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I'm sorry. It's boring.
I don't like... Close
It's
Encounters
far
of the
too
Third
long.
Kind I liked the first time I saw it. But it took so long to get there. Really, I only liked the last 15 minutes of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're waiting the entire movie for them to finally really show up over Devil's Tower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this may get me some hate mail, but I don't think Blade Runner is as good as a lot of people seem to think that it is.
Wait a minute.
And
narration or no narration? Because apparently that's an important distinction.
Apparently it's a film that needs about 5 or 6 different versions, and you can just kind of pick which one you like.
And none of them can get it right. Oh, wait,
I
it's
res-
because you didn't see the right version, Justin.
Right. I respect it, and I really love what it added to our culture. I think neo-noir sort of films like that should exist. But every time I watch it, there are long, long stretches where I'm just kind of bored out of my mind. Maybe I've watched too many Michael Bay movies and I've gotten ADD. I don't know. But for me, those are 3 sci-fi films that seem to get all the critics loved, but I'm just kind of standing around going, this isn't nearly as good as some other movies you could be watching. Like Fort Fairlane. Just kidding.
The Exorcist, I know people love it. People love it. I know I'm the minority and I've talked about it before. I don't like it. I get bored to shit watching it. I just am not interested at all.
Love The Exorcist.
And
Yep. And The Exorcist 3 is almost as good.
Yes.
But it's more because it was filmed in the early 90s. It is a little easier to watch, I guess. Doesn't feel as dated of
Right.
a movie. And there are some very, very scary, eerie scenes in it. And just some of the visual scenes are just makes my hair stand up on my arms.
You ain't got much. Well,
on
no,
my
on your
arms.
arms, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
you
that's why I had to add that.
Go on, Aaron. You were.
Oh, it's just one of those movies I just can't get into. I've tried and tried. My mother, it's one of her favorite movies, and obviously, I'm a mama's boy, and I can't do it. For whatever reason, I cannot do it. The Shining, I've talked about that before, but that's really because of the book. It's not. I don't think the movie's awful. It's just I love the book.
Entity.
Yeah, it's hard for me because I read the book right before I saw it, and for me, it's forever tainted. I guess is the ring. So it might be a fantastic movie, but unfortunately, all I can see is it didn't do the shit I wanted in the book, so it's never going to change.
I hear it. Yeah, I mean, I never read the book, so I'm fine with The Shining. For me, though, Avatar is one that just.
I agree, man. I do.
It's just.
I love Avatar.
It's as cookie cutter basic of a plot as you could possibly have. Yeah, the visual effects were quote unquote groundbreaking at the time, the use of 3D, but other than that, and it really wasn't that spectacular, the 3D use at the time. It's just, I don't know, it just didn't do for me what it did for a lot of people. And my other one is every Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, the second one everybody seems to think is the best one. I did not like the second one hardly at all. I thought Doc Ock was fucking terrible.
I love the second one, so I guess I'm in that majority. I hate the third one. I don't hate it. I don't find it good. So I mean, I can still watch it.
The only thing I like in that third one is the scene that everybody hates, and it's him dancing down the street. It is so absurd that it kind of turns the film into something completely other. And maybe that's why I like it, because for a moment I was taken out of the shittiness, kind of transported to a song and dance kind of movie for a moment.
Wow.
And I mean, I like what he did with some of the characters. The whole product, I just didn't like. I like the use of, I didn't like the guy I don't like Topher Grace, but I do like Venom. I thought I thought Sandman was good. I don't know, maybe he's just trying to cram too much in there, and everything had to evolve around Mary Jane, and it just drove me up the fucking wall. So.
Touché, sir. And Scott wanted me to mention a movie called The Room as one of his bad movies he
Oh,
loved.
God.
I don't even know what the movie is. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it is basically known as the worst movie ever made, and the guy it's one of those cult movies similar to Rocky Horror Picture Show where when they show it, people throw things at the screen at certain cues. They scream out words or phrases at certain times. There are so many. It's basically there's plot lines where I don't know, somebody's dying of cancer at the beginning of the movie and they're never mentioned throughout the rest of the movie. Stuff
Seriously?
like that. It's basically just collectively known as the worst movie ever made, and they have festivals around this movie.
Wow. And my last one, if you want to bring up the movies that everybody loves and Christmas Story, I've talked about it before. I just don't see what's so funny about it. I try and try and try. So, sorry, America. Don't deep sign me. Damn it. You son of a bitch.
Just don't get it.
I don't get exactly.
You just don't get it.
I just don't get it. I hate when I do that.
Me too.
All right, now let's go to emails. Justin, you go first.
Yeah, well, all right. Mr. Anyone had to school me over Twitter. He said that Dish and DirecTV have to pay the networks to rebroadcast their signals. You can't rebroadcast without paying. That is true.
Oh.
I still say fuck them. It's free over the air. I don't care. But yes, you are correct.
And if you want to hear more about that, listen to last week's show because, woof, he went on a tangent.
Send your emails to fuckit at the Hollywood Outsider.
Yes. Wow. Okay, Brian.
Sean M. writes in. He says, my brother had a Ricky named Tyrone. He blamed everything on Tyrone. He also would say he was going over to Tyrone's house when Dad asked where he was going. It wasn't until he was in his late 20s that he came clean about the fact that there was no Tyrone. He later named his new pit bull Tyrone. Tyrone got my brother out of a lot of trouble.
Oh, last week we were talking about Ricky Stenicki, which Jim Carrey's in, and Ricky Stenicki's a made-up character that they used to get out of trouble. I think that's awesome. And how do you know maybe Tyrone wasn't real and he just don't want you to know what they were doing? You know what I'm saying? He's always going
that wouldn't have worked with my parents because my mom would have asked to see this person and or their parents.
Mm-hmm.
I might have been able to use a Tyrone or a Ricky Stenicki once. After that, no, I don't think I could have used it again.
And Justin, you got another one?
This one's from Mark H. He says, there are very few films that rattle me. I mean, any ghost story well told will always make me a bit jumpy, but there are a few films that genuinely terrify me. These may seem pretentious, but I'm being honest. Firstly, most things by David Lynch really get to me. They lull me into a dream state and then populate that dream with nightmares. Secondly, and bear with me, oh my God, you didn't mention it, 2001, A Space Odyssey. I watched it once and liked it fine, but on my second viewing, I started thinking about the intermission and the nature of the monolith and that creepy music that plays when they go to the dig site on the moon. That same horrible music plays during the intermission, and I realized that if you turn the monolith on its side, it's the same dimensions as a widescreen TV screen. It was like that black menace was right there staring back at me, guiding me as it did guide human evolution.
That's actually pretty genius, actually.
You may think that's ridiculous, which of course it is, but I have never been that scared since I was held at knife point, which sounds like another story we should hear. Much love, Mark H.
Yeah, please fill us in. And David Lynch, Blue Velvet, that'll make you second guess going outside and playing in a field.
I am woefully uneducated in David Lynch films.
I don't love him, but he's got a couple movies, and Blue Velvet is probably the one I can think of the most, where he fucks with your head. I mean, it's messed up. Dennis Hopper in that movie is messed up.
I think outside of Dune and Twin Peaks, I really haven't seen any other David Lynch. And Blue Velvet's one of those movies that you always mean to watch but never do. Someday I'll have to rectify that.
It's actually a good movie. Brian, you got one more?
Yeah, I got a little note from Tammy on Twitter. She said, I understand not watching too many trailers. I was a Twilight blogger and all the spoilers messed me up. And she also threw out a happy birthday shout out to me. So, yay, thank you, Tammy.
That was very sweet.
Did Sue say happy birthday at all?
Ooh,
no.
What's that about?
I don't know. She's been very quiet lately, so I don't know. Maybe she's having to beat down a whole lot of them felons or something.
I guess she forgot about you, Brian.
She got a lot of lawbreakers out there.
She ain't forgot about me.
And also, Mikhail P, he found us on Facebook, and he wrote in a good episode. I caught Evil Dead last weekend, and while I didn't enjoy it as much as you guys did, I can see your points. There's a lot of polarizing views on Evil Dead. There's a lot of people that aren't digging it, and a lot of people that are. And ironically, fans of the series are still split. I've seen both sides. So
then there are the people who get it. And the people who don't.
That's going to be our whole argument from now on. If you don't like one of our reviews, you just don't get it. That's what
right.
It is.
And you can never refute that.
Just kidding. That's what the elitists do.
That's right.
Make sure you stay through the credits for outtakes, as always. You can find us on thehollywoodoutsider.com or at facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsider. You can post on there, and we'll read those as well. Email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. Tell your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Zune, Google Reader while it lasts, because in July, it's gone. Listen on your Stitcher Radio app. Give us a thumbs up if you do, please, or any plain old RSS feed, as well as RockfordCollegeRadio.com Thursdays from 4 to 6. I want to thank each of the podcasters for being here, excluding Scott because he's not here. Brian Williams.
I enjoyed it.
Justin McCumber.
Pleasure as always.
Hey, I heard something came out, something people could listen.
Yeah, I mentioned it a little while ago, but finally Audible approved the audiobook version of A Minor Magic. So if you like to listen to your stories as opposed to read them yourself, then it is available on Audible right now, and it should be up on Amazon and iTunes any moment now. So Veronica Jaguar did the narration. She did a phenomenal job. I think it sounds fantastic, and I'm really hoping people will give it a try, especially if you're going somewhere on a vacation pop it in and give it a listen. She did a great job. And, of course, she had my brilliant words to read, so how could she not?
And Scott Clark couldn't be here this week, but we do want to wish Scotty a happy birthday. So it's everybody's birthday the last week, except Justin and I, we're the only ones that apparently we like our own time. We don't want to share that shit.
Get lumped in with these two.
Exactly, because we're special.
That's right.
So remember, guys, the next time you go to a theater, buy popcorn.
I share my birthday with Jeebus.
Is it December 25th?
Close enough. 13th. It's in the same vicinity.
Close enough.
If you round up.
That's right.
Justin, just so you know, Aaron is officially void of any jokes, any redneck, southern, hillbilly, gay, sheep fucking, goat fucking, cow tipping jokes ever.
Why?
Because he's going man packing in a place called the Porkies.
What's my favorite part is when he's like racing in the graveyard against like Robert Englund, and like the naked chick flies up front.
Yeah. Comes out of the coffin or whatever.
Oh, baby, I hope you filled out some organ donor cards. Oh,
yes. I've got to go watch this.
Hey.
I think John Ottman did a pretty good job of using that theme and playing the music for the new one, or Superman Returns.
Now, here, I want you to listen to this real quietly and just picture me with an A on my chest.
Well, isn't it amazing, just kind of inherent to Aaron?
This is why I love you. This right here is why you come back every week. 'Cause you...
No matter how much I hate you, this is why I allow you to show up every week.
Talk to you guys later. Mwah.
Later, hoes.
Later, hoes.
Later, ho. Bye.
Later,
Ball
hoes.
tickle. Ball tickle.
You're such a ball tickle. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.